And hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Now, today we finally have Mr. Riptide back.
Oh my goodness, I am back. I don't know what to do. Mitch, between the last time I recorded with you and where we are now, I've been through like half the country, experienced a lot of great things. But I always get brought back here. So here's where I am, and I'm excited to continue this podcast with you. And give you a relief and break from recording, finally.
Yes. Yeah, so I mostly got the podcast done. Obviously, we didn't have one last week. I haven't really been able to do much because one of my RAM sticks on my computer went down. And at the time we built my computer like 3 or 4 years ago, we put worse RAM sticks in it in the first place to kind of as a budget saving thing. So one going out really hurt the performance of my computer, and it's been hard to record lately. So that's why we didn't have one last week. Sorry about that, guys, but
It's okay.
back to every week.
We're here now. We are here now. And, speaking of my vacation, I'm sure Mitch won't mind if I take this time to drop a quick advertisement. I recorded the entire thing for you guys, so the first episode of that is going to be out next week. It's going to be amazing on my channel. Had a blast with it, but anyway, I'm not here to sell out, Mitch. I am here to start off this podcast, and we are going to be jumping in to the first segment.
Yes, random quote of the day.
Yes, our quotes. And Mitch, this isn't official, but I feel like it's been kind of an unsaid rule, but can we make it official that we just read each other's quotes so that's not us reading our own quotes?
Yeah, that works great for me. That's what we've been doing anyway. So.
Yeah. Just wanted to make a said rule instead of an unsaid rule.
Yeah. So let's start out with Riptide's quote of the week. His quote was, "Am I the only one who's ever tried to lick my own toe?" And Riptide, you're probably not the only one, 7 billion people on the planet and all, but you're probably among the, like 0.5% of the population with that one.
You know, I feel that this quote, by the way, if you guys don't know where we get the quotes from, it's legit just pulling out of context and random Discord messages of the past.
Yeah.
But I feel like this quote just speaks to the sheer testament of my mental capacity. It's just, it just displays it so well in that one quote.
I feel like trying to lick your own toe is something that only really children do, and probably every single child has tried to lick their own toe. Mm-hmm. But like in terms of being conscious of how disgusting your feet are going to be and then still trying to lick your own toe, you disgust me.
Okay, well, unfortunately I can't say the same for you with this next quote. Mitch's quote is, "No, sir, it's mine. The corn is mine." Which I'm proud of you. This reflects your patriotism towards the Midwest so well. It just brings a tear to my eye. Just the golden yellow of the kernels of corn, they circulate through my mind day in and day out. They remind me of home, Mitch. And to see you honor that so much and just lust for the corn to be yours, it just...
I grew up in the middle of a cornfield, all right? The corn's mine. Pause off.
Yeah, I mean, I did too, but I guess we'll ignore that since I also have a bunch of forest around my house.
Yeah, you have too much forest. Like, you have to grow up, like, in just plains of corn. Like, just corn as far as I can see. You get up in a high spot, like on top of a hill or something, and just look out, and all there is a sea of corn.
You'll grow to love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beans are a close second, but not anywhere near... Actually, no, not a close second. They're just a second. Not anywhere near corn.
Yeah.
However, they're okay.
They're necessary for, like, the balancing of nutrients in the soil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they're not as good as corn.
Yeah, no. They're necessary to have better corn. So here we are 5 minutes in. We've talked about corn. And I'm sure people have loved us displaying our knowledge about corn.
Yep. Corn is the almighty.
It is. Corn is unbeatable. Nothing before it or after it. Anyway,
so
let's move on to segment 2.
For number 2, trouble brewing in gaming. There really wasn't much going on as far as I could tell. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't spend a ton of time looking for stuff, but I couldn't really find much. So, but that in itself, not having much going on, is a problem. Like, for example, in the trending section of YouTube for gaming videos, we are still at the same point we were at like 4 years ago, where, well, maybe not quite 4 years ago, but where all of the trending videos, they all have the same color scheme. Mm-hmm. They all have that same face on the right side, which is the same look with the same background, and they're all like, you know, mixing items that don't belong together in Minecraft, or Fortnite, blah, 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 Fortnite challenge, and stuff like that. And it's been the same thing for so long.
Yes. Is the imposter sus in Minecraft? It's all stuff like that. It's all the same thing. See, the problem is, and the reason it's not going away, is because it does work, unfortunately. It does get clicks and views and interaction and likes. Not quite as much interaction as views. And definitely not as much likes, because videos never even come close to getting as many likes as views. But that's aside the point. The point is it still gets a lot of people watching it. Because unfortunately, there's a reason that people clickbait. It's because it works. And especially when you comment on, or when the video is about popular things going on at the time or whatever, it's definitely going to increase. Like, for instance, it's always themed around something. Like when Fortnite was very popular, it was clickbait stuff for Fortnite. When Minecraft was popular, aka always, it's clickbait stuff for Minecraft. And when Among Us was popular, it was always Among Us stuff. And there's always a big sus in the thumbnail and someone holding a knife, and yeah.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It just feels like, with the way the YouTube algorithm's set up and with the way that people click on the videos and stuff like that, it's hit an annoying part with the trending tab where it's just the same thing over and over and over again. And to be frank, the videos themselves might actually be completely different now than they were 3 years ago, but the thumbnails and the titles have not changed at all.
Yeah, that's a issue. And as you guys, I used to do the red arrow thing a lot, but I promise you that wasn't just for like the whole clickbaity trend. It was, I don't want to say never, definitely in my early YouTube career I didn't have any chivalry, I can't say that word whatsoever. Later on though, when I was using the red arrows, it's always to point something out in my thumbnail. That's just a testament to how bad I am at thumbnails. I need to point it out, but yeah. It's just been the same thing over and over again. And again, people do it because it works. The problem is I don't feel like there's a lot of people like you and me who get necessarily tired of it. Like, to them, that's just the way YouTube is.
Yeah, I feel like, well, because there's, it's a bit of a younger crowd, stuff like that, who spend a lot of time watching videos on YouTube. It's normally like the early teens and stuff like that are spending the most time watching gaming videos on YouTube. But like, for those of us who grew up with a very different era in YouTube where there wasn't much emphasis put on thumbnails and, frankly, there wasn't that much emphasis put on titles either, because you didn't really need to try as hard to stand out in earlier YouTube.
Yeah.
So as a result,
yeah.
There's a lot more focus on the content and a lot less focus on the title and thumbnail and, all of that, like, before posting stuff. And I miss that, where, the main focus of the creators was always on making a good video and everything else kind of came second. Now it's like, you get a good thumbnail and a good title, and then if you have time left over, you make a good video with it.
Yeah, it's as important or more important than the content itself. Like, for instance, when I was, first starting to watch YouTube back in 2012, 2013, it was very rare for a video I watched to have a thumbnail. And if it did, it was just like the same picture that the last episode was, except the number was changed to, represent what episode it was in the series. Like, there'd be a yellow number or something in the top left corner with a screenshot of, some Minecraft world or whatever, and that'd be the thumbnail. That'd be it, which is also something I do a lot. Yeah, it's weird. It's like my thumbnails like merge both eras together, but I do miss those days. And I actually have an entire video on my channel. And the question on the video was, for me, I basically just talk for 14 minutes about my opinions on, is clickbait immoral? And the major consensus I come to is there's nothing wrong with making a good thumbnail and making it interesting. And not even over-exaggerating something that happened in your video in the thumbnail. The issue I have with clickbait is when people have a title and thumbnail that is completely separate from their content. I don't know if you feel the same way as me in that. Maybe you think that they just, shouldn't exaggerate things at all. I don't know what your opinion is on that.
So, like, yeah, I obviously think that, the titles and thumbnails should be on point to it. But, like, it also annoys me that, like, they all seem to have the same face on the side. They all seem, like, it doesn't feel like people are trying to innovate much with their thumbnails anymore. Instead, a theme that was found that works, and now everybody does.
Yeah, it gives a feel of that sort of disingenuous, and there's sort of a lack of originality to the videos. So yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. And obviously the face is always on a small red square. Like, it's always like they've peeled their thumbnail away to reveal a face on a red square. And that's specifically because the color red catches the eye more than almost any other color. Yep. Obviously, contrast makes a lot of difference, but normally red contrasts heavily with other things. Also, sorry I'm lagging a bit, guys. The animals are not going very smoothly, but at least we still have the commentary. Anyway. Yeah, clickbait, we're not for it. That's all the gaming thumbnails seem to be today. Mitch, it's time to move on to segment number 3, unless you have something else to say about it.
Nope. Moving on to segment 3 for me, YouTube news. Now, this week, there's really nothing going on that I could find, like, in terms of YouTube with them. Normally they've done something insane, which makes us want to yell at YouTube, but overall, nothing's really happened.
It's kind of funny, because this segment's supposed to be like YouTube trends, but as a result, it turns more into what segment 8 or segment 9 is, which is complain about YouTube for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, this week there is actually real news, and how dare Mitch suggest that nothing much happened this week, because UrBoiBlazer, a man who has guest hosted on this show, and I don't think we actually ended up having him on to be just a regular guest, because some of you guys may remember, we had Manta on here and we interviewed him and stuff. Blazer was just on here to guest host. He was in here to fill my position. So I don't know if we're gonna actually have him on here or not, but anyway, my man released his album. If I remember, I'll link it in the description. Same with Mitch. It's amazing.
So, just a note, he didn't release it this week. It was last week. However, this week he dropped each song separately. He dropped them all in one big kind of album drop. But this week he split them off into separate videos and stuff like that, which my opinion is better that way, but I may or may not have encouraged him heavily.
Me too. And Manta Ray. And Nightmare.
Yeah.
All of us wanted it. Yeah. For me, it's not probably the same reasons as you other guys, but either way, Blazer did an amazing job with it. He not that his previous songs were bad, not even close to that. It's just he just went to the next level with this one, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, for sure. He did a great job with them. They were better than his previous ones, but obviously, as you were mentioning, his previous ones were still good. He did a great job with them. But you're gonna get better with it as time. So obviously, he's a lot better than.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to see like even where he goes from here. And there's pretty heavy debate over how good every song. They're all great, but like in their own realm, like comparing them to each other. There's a lot of debate on what order they're in, except for the first one. It's almost a completely unified response that song Time Travel is the best song. And I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely, in my opinion, the best song he's dropped so far.
Yeah, it's it's just for someone who's just starting out in music and is obviously his music channel's got 13 subscribers, so he's obviously independent.
21.
Yeah. Oh, did he get 4 since the last time I looked? Nice.
He is 21. So.
Well, good job, Blazer. But so we were right. Releasing his songs individually did help his channel a lot then. But like it just feels phenomenal. It's not very often that, someone like, can do what Blazer did, which is basically just be like, I'm musical, but I'm not like from what I hear, Blazer practices ukulele and piano, but he's not like, he's not like a super, super, super musical person, but he basically just decided to, with, the knowledge he had, just pick up a computer and learn how to make music. And since I have started YouTube, I wanted to make music. I've tried it many times, and let me tell you, it is difficult. So I have nothing but respect for that man.
Yeah, for sure. Blazer's done a great job. Good on him. Very proud of him for having done a good job with all that. But I think it's time for us to move on and talk about what has happened this day in history.
Yes. I'll let you have this one, Mitch.
So, back in this day in 1790, the Swedish Navy captured 1/3 of the Russian fleet at the Battle of Svenskund in the Baltic Sea.
Yes.
Which 1/3 of a navy is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, especially since obviously times have changed a lot, and I'm sure that the Russian military and Swedish military were nothing like they were back then that they are today. But
yeah, the Swedish were very militaristic back in the day. It's only been a recent thing that they don't get involved in wars and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's also funny because we think of the Russians as being extremely militaristic these days. But yeah, no, that's just, I mean, when you just look at landmass and population, it's still kind of funny that the Swedish Navy captured 1/3 of the Russian military, even though the Swedish military probably had better tactics.
You mean Navy?
Navy. What did I say?
Military.
Well, they're a branch of the military, but we'll keep it technical and specific. It's not technical, just specific. I don't know why I said technical. We'll keep it specific. their navy was probably better than the Russian fleet, but still, it's pretty funny. And it happened this day in 1790.
Yep. Very cool. But now it's time for us to move on to segment 5. We're going to talk about recent game drops / updates. So one thing that a lot of people are excited about is the second game of Doki Doki Literature Club came out. It came out I think a week and a half ago, but obviously we missed last week, so didn't get to talk about it then. Yeah. So Riptide, do you know anything about the game?
No, I don't know anything about either of the games.
So I've never played the game, but I watched the game theory on it, and it is a dark game.
It's dark?
Yeah. But I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be looking forward to this one for a lot of lore reveals compared to, the first one, which I believe left some open holes. It's been a while since I watched the game theory videos on it. But, yeah, this is pretty exciting for a lot of people. Obviously not so much for me as I haven't played the first game, but we'll see if Matt Pat drops new game theory for the new game. He probably will. And then the other thing is the second Monster Hunter Stories came out. I'm pretty big into the Monster Hunter series itself, but I've never played the stories. So, maybe now that the second one has come out, maybe the first one will be a little cheaper and I might actually look into it. We'll see. But, yeah, definitely exciting. So, not a big week for game drops for me, but some people will definitely be excited about these.
Yeah, I haven't played the Monster Hunter series, but I've heard a lot of people that do, and
it is a good series.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty well made game and everything like that. So yeah, I've just heard nothing but praise for it. So I'm sure that people are excited for it. Is there any again, I haven't played it, so I don't know what it's about that much. So are the Monster Hunter Stories, is it going to be is it very lore-oriented? What sort of game is it?
So, to be completely honest, all I know about Monster Hunter Story is that it's different. It's significantly different than the other ones. I think was it turn-based combat for Monster Hunter Stories? I don't remember for sure, but they did something that made it completely different than the normal Monster Hunter games. Oh. So as a result, it's a whole different world compared to the normal Monster Hunter games.
Okay. Yeah. So that's why I didn't know anything about Stories. Yeah, so I'm sure that with the second one coming out, that obviously people are going to be excited for the, new sort of combat that's going to be going on in that game. I'm also very clueless about the Doki Doki Literature Club. It sounds like some sort of... Is it like an anime game?
Yeah, it's that kind of art style.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Doki Doki sounds very anime. But yes, anyway, those are the two main game drops that came out this week. I do have something to talk about very quickly with you, Mitch.
Shoot.
Are we going to cover when the second part of the Minecraft update comes out? Are we going to cover that in this segment, or are we just going to leave it since we already covered, the update?
Oh, we'll probably talk about it because I'm guessing by then they'll have done some stuff that might make us mad or something like that, knowing Microsoft.
Yeah, or make us happy.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I would get into detail about that, but this segment's about new game drops, and my opinions on the new update do not belong here. So at that...
The game drop / updates segment.
Yeah, / updates. So at that, we will move to the question of the week, which we decided to go with the question since, you know, we're at the halfway point of summer, maybe a bit more halfway. I know for British people, a bit half than less way. Wait, what? A bit less than halfway. I can't talk. So yeah, Mitch, what is your favorite thing about summer?
Nothing. I hate summer.
Really?
No, in all seriousness, I hate summer a lot because increased school workloads for me because I take classes summer semester, and when it's the shorter semester, they pack a lot more in. It's always so hot, and I always sleep worse during the summer because my room's always hotter, and it's harder for me to fall asleep. And I don't know, I just kind of hate summertime. It's just kind of not my speed. But since, you know, I'm supposed to be saying my favorite thing about summer, not just being negative, I like for summer, it's nice being able to meet up with friends more often, and, you know, having more of a flexible sleep schedule and stuff like that can be nice. But yeah, for the most part, it's not great for me. I'd probably like summer a lot more if I didn't take summer classes.
Yeah,
but...
you also kind of are that rare exception, seeing as you have so much school in the summer. Because not very many people do summer school, and if they do, it's not to the extent that you do.
Mm.
It's like for you, it's almost like you have a full semester of school in the summer, really.
School's usually more packed in and difficult during the summer than it is other times of the year.
Yeah, so it's like equivalent to the other times of the year.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I'm kind of in the same boat as Mitch as far as I dislike the hot weather quite a lot. Like, if it gets up to 85 in the summer, it's like, yeah, I tolerate it. You know, I don't mind it because at least summer is supposed to feel hot, and 85 isn't like, I'm not going to die in 85.
Yeah.
However, where we live, it becomes very hot. I got back here in this Midwestern place from the Southwestern U.S. because that's where my vacation went. It was hotter here than basically everywhere in the Southwest except Phoenix, Arizona.
And let me make a quick distinction here. It's not necessarily that it was more temperature hot, but the humidity in the Midwest makes the real feel a lot higher than in places in like the Southwest where it's more deserty. So as a result, they have less humidity. Even if the temperature's hotter, it doesn't feel as hot because they have less humidity.
Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, my entire life I've been told that you don't sweat in deserts because it's not humid. Well, guess what? That was a lie.
Yeah.
You sweat a lot in deserts. Quite a lot.
Well, because sweat has nothing to do with humidity.
I know.
I mean, not nothing to do with humidity, but
like, I never thought about it that much until I got down there. And I was like, okay, first off, this is a lie. Second off, why in the world did I ever think humidity would affect sweat that much?
An old wives' tale.
But yeah, no. Anyway, I haven't even said my favorite thing about summer yet. I've also only said the negative things. Again, being able to be with friends more is great, except for me, I've been with friends less because I've been gone. Which brings me to the point that I am more free in the summer, so therefore I can go cool places like the Southwest or
imagine traveling,
or like Florida, like I did last year, and see cool places, and also no school. That's always a good part of summer, where you can just kind of sit back, relax a bit more, recuperate. It's just a good time. I like the vibes of summer. If the vibes of summer had the temperature of winter, it'd be wonderful. But sadly it doesn't. And also summer lacks all life when it comes to the sports world.
Yeah.
The sports world becomes a desolate and
What do you mean it lacks all life? The NBA playoffs are happening right now. The hockey playoffs just finished.
Okay.
It's just the sports you pay attention to lack life.
AKA
baseball's in full swing.
Full swing. Haha, I see what you did there.
It's legit only football that doesn't really participate during summer. I don't know about soccer. Well, actually, no. Like, England's playing Italy right now, and it's some big deal about some trophy or something, I believe. So, like...
yeah, another thing is that I believe that basketball was just messed up by COVID. I don't think they're normally going this time of year. Yeah.
But like, still, everything else is going and pretty much just stopping now with NHL and stuff like that. So, like, yeah, what do you mean there's no sports during?
Okay, there's no sports that interest me, aka college sports and the NFL. There we go.
And that's fair. That's fair. Like, for me, I'm completely ignorant on the sports world during summer because all I watch is the NFL.
Yeah. Like, in the summer, it's normally just baseball and golf. And baseball is just extremely boring. Unless you're actually at a game.
Or if you're invested in, like, the different players and stuff. Then baseball.
Yeah. And golf is just boring in general. Anyway, that was not the sports segment. However, this is the sports segment. So, we mentioned the NBA championship happening right now. We actually covered it when the playoffs were just now starting. It took them all this time, and they finally just started the NBA finals. So, there's an interesting story that came out of the NBA, which is in the semifinals, the Milwaukee Bucks had a star player. His name's Giannis. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. I'll try, but it won't be a completely serious attempt. Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, I probably should just let it be.
Yeah, I think he's Greek. Like, he's from Greece. I could be completely wrong about that. But anyway.
That sounds right.
He's the Bucks star player. And in basketball, when you have a star player, normally you only have one, at max two. And they, like, carry you throughout the whole thing. So in the semifinals, the Bucks were tied with the Atlanta Hawks. They play the Hawks in a game. Giannis, their star player, hyperextends his knee. And apparently if he hadn't, made some other slight movement or something to save it, it could have moved or hyperextended in a way that would have at least put him out for the rest of the season. So anyway, the Bucks obviously didn't have him their next game against the Hawks. And this would be the last game in the series against the Hawks. So they play the Hawks without Giannis. They're extreme underdogs because without Giannis, they're not that great. They're still pretty good, but they're not a team you'd expect to see in the championship, So they play a Hawks team who's going full force, and they just march into the stadium, and they beat the Atlanta Hawks without Giannis. So, good for them.
Yeah. Wouldn't this be the Bucks' first championship in like 60 years or something if they get it?
Yeah, it would be. I believe, was it Amir Abdul-Jabbar that played for the Bucks when they won their first championship?
Yeah.
Either
and then
way,
if the Suns win, it'll be their first ever.
Yeah, so it's been a long time, so I'm sure the folks in Milwaukee are very happy. And the fact that they could win without Giannis against a Hawks team who is extremely stout to win the series and go to the finals should make them very happy. However, the real craziness is the fact that Giannis was back 2 or 3 days later for the first game of the finals. He was already back and dunking on people, and we're talking... This is an injury he had that could have ended his season and possibly gone into next season. He was back in a bit over a week.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy to think about. But yeah, no, sports injury. Oh, by the way, they're in the finals now against the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns look amazing. And unfortunately they did lose their first game, but I am pulling for the Bucks in this one.
Yeah.
It's the first championship in a decade that did not involve Steph Curry or LeBron James.
It's just insane.
Yeah, like those two guys have just been running the NBA. Yeah, and I like Steph a lot. LeBron, but I do like Steph quite a lot. So
yeah, it's crazy for me because this is something like you don't see much in the NFL. Obviously, Tom Brady's been to a lot of Super Bowls, but like you don't see something where he's single-handedly in every single Super Bowl for 10 straight years. Like there's always like little breaks between his Super Bowls and stuff like that. It's rare that he's getting, many appearances in the Super Bowl in a row. It's usually like a little spread out. Yeah. So like the idea of in the NBA having two players monopolize like all of the championships is just insane to me.
Yeah. Although sometimes it does feel like Tom Brady is in every championship. But yeah, sports injuries are just rough in general. Because it's just like you think you have a good team, and then one guy goes down, you think you'll be good without him, but it turns out that he's an essential part of your team. And sometimes teams finish as like they could be championship favorites for whatever their sport is, and just by losing one player to a sports injury, that drops them to one of the worst in their conference or division, or depends what sport you play. But yeah, no, sports injuries really stink. And I kind of feel a bit for athletes that get sports injuries, and I know that people don't like to sympathize for athletes a lot just because of how much most of them make. But like, when you get injured more or less because you're providing entertainment for people, that does make me feel bad, but not as bad as I could feel, simply because when you first join the sport, you realize that that's the risk you're taking. Like, for instance, in football, you know that you're going to be tossed around like a hacky sack, so you know the risk in that. Same goes for every other sport.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting philosophical debate to have. One I don't think we have time for today for sure, but definitely something that people have been able to talk about a lot and have, it's definitely an interesting topic.
Yes, but now that we are over with the sports segment covering the NBA Finals, we are moving on to one of Mitch and I's personal favorite segments that we have in our podcast, which are reading the comments. And guys, we keep telling you guys, there's a formula that you should follow. Subscribe, share, and comment. Those are the three things that help us out the most. Well, comments don't help us out as much,
but they're fun.
They're fun. We love fan interaction, guys. That's like the reason we do this, to get fan interaction. We haven't been getting many comments, so please leave your comments. However, we do have a couple new comments that have been dropped since last week's podcast. And the first one is from Manta Ray, who hosted the last podcast. He commented, "Ew, kill it." Which, I'm kind of upset at Manta Ray for suggesting that he didn't do phenomenal in last week's podcast. He did a great job. I don't know what he's talking about. You guys kept me fully invested for the... How long was it? 36 minutes? Did you guys finally make it to 40 minutes? Yeah. Yeah, it was a shorter podcast. Our shortest ever.
45 minutes.
Oh, it was 45? Okay, it wasn't our shortest ever then.
Our first episode's still our shortest.
Yeah, but anyway, I thought you guys did a good job. So Manta Ray. I don't know what you're talking about killing it. I don't want to kill it. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. Anyway, Mitch, you can have the next comment.
So the next comment comes from Sith Gaming, who said, sheesh.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
cool on Sith.
Yeah.
Started a sheesh back and forth. And then also Riptide Gaming said, I feel like the context for my quote made it worse. Poor Riptide. Okay.
I don't even remember what my quote was.
Wait, let me
my
check.
Comment. Or yeah, my quote or my comment. I don't remember it.
Oh, let's talk about those gorgeous thighs.
I still stand by that statement then.
What? You don't want to talk about AJ Dillon's gorgeous thighs?
Oh no. That's not the part I have complaints about. It's the fact that it it makes me sound like I'm obsessing over a man's thighs.
You kind of were.
This is the issue. So anyway, yes, Sith Gaming's sheesh, I believe, just speaks to a testament of how good the episode was last week. Mitch totally just pulled that comment without my permission to bring up the whole thing about thighs.
I would never.
However, probably good because it added content.
Yes.
So
now we have to move on to the final segment, which I know poor Riptide, he doesn't like this segment as much as I do, but it's YouTube rant segment. This is my favorite segment.
No, I love this segment as well. I just don't get to put words in normally.
You like it because you don't have to talk. You get to just sit back.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, Mitch, do your thing.
So YouTube has committed a horrible sin. They've returned to something that I haven't seen for a couple years, but it's something that makes you want to cry. So the other day, I was listening to some music on YouTube while I was mowing, as I do. And there's an ad playing, and I'm like, okay, it'll take like 30 seconds, whatever. I get it past the 15 seconds. It's a bit of a longer ad, and then it keeps going. And I'm finally just like, whatever. I stop the mower for a second, and I pull out my phone. Hour left in the ad. Like, what? And the thing about it is, like, for example, on a computer, you get longer ads than you do on your phone. But I have an ad blocker on computer, so I don't really normally bump into the longer ads. But on mobile, who adds hour-long ads to YouTube for mobile? That is absurd. Like, you're listening to, most of the time, you're going to be listening to music and stuff like that. If more than 30 seconds of that gets watched, it's because you were listening to music and you didn't bother to skip it. Why would you ever add an hour-long ad? Who in YouTube was like, this is a good idea. Let's let there be hour-long ads on our content for mobile.
Yeah, that's just absurd. And it's like, come on. I'm watching, this certain content creator on YouTube. This is not the, Sunday morning telemarket show where they play hour-long ads on TV instead of, actually watching TV, or playing TV shows. I want to get back to my video, and at the end of the day, I don't care about that on YouTube. I understand that YouTube isn't going to use that logic because they're hoping that, obviously I do the opposite, that I do care about it. But regardless of if you care about it or not, it's an hour-long ad. And, like, I don't know, do you know if that ad was... Sometimes YouTube makes, like, people's videos about something or a company's video about something in ads, since Well, I mean, technically the company pays for it to be an ad, and YouTube puts it up.
I don't remember what the ad was. I just remember looking at it and seeing that there was an hour left in the ad and just being like, what is wrong with you, YouTube?
And like, even if it was like just a video of someone or something or a company's thing that was paid for by them, YouTube should not allow them to have hour-long ads.
We don't need stinking film length ads. If I'm sitting down
That's
to
longer
watch,
than a lot of films actually.
well, not a lot.
Well, some
like,
films.
actual films are usually like hour and a half minimum to a max.
Yeah, okay.
Of like
I take that back. Not a lot of films, but some films.
Yeah.
And they're an hour is longer than that.
Yeah, we don't need stinking film length ads. That's not okay. Like, YouTube, chill out. I get that they probably paid a lot for that ad. I get that. But, like, chill out. We don't need that long of ad. And the thing is, you know what you've done, YouTube? Now I use an ad blocker when I'm listening to music on my phone. So I hope you're happy.
You just downloaded an ad blocker for your phone?
No, I like my browser on my phone had a built-in ad blocker. I just always use the app anyway, just because the app's more convenient.
Oh yeah, that's way better than the browser.
But now I'm just like, it's not even worth it. Like, it's much better to just use the browser and not have to worry about the ads.
Yeah, I don't get what does YouTube, well, they get a lot of money out of it, is basically the only reason that they play the ads. But I'll never get ads that long. No one, like, I feel like with ads sometimes the longer you go, the less convinced a person is to buy your product, you know? Because it's just like, as the ad keeps going and going and going and going, especially on TV since you can't skip it. It's just like, I want to get back. It gets to a point where, you know, the ad first comes on, and I'm not personally like this, but a person could be like, oh, you know, that looks, you know, kind of cool. I might be interested in that product. 5 minutes later, their baseball game still isn't back on the TV. Their SpongeBob isn't back on the TV, and the same ad's playing for the same thing, and it's just saying the same stuff over and over again. And at that point, they're just like, I'm not going to buy whatever product you're selling, just out of principle at this point.
Yeah, just because you annoyed me with it.
Yeah, I feel like short, brief, down to the point, eye-catching ads are the most effective. When it gets to long ads like that, it gets to the point where nobody cares. So I don't get why companies do it. I get why YouTube does it, because they make a lot of money off of it and people can just skip after 30 seconds anyway. But what if they're in a situation like you where they're busy working and they can't pull out their phone to skip the ad?
Yep. Yeah, it's insanely annoying. It's a problem that annoys me with YouTube an insane amount. You know, these are just the sort of things with YouTube which makes it clear that they need competition. Not because I want to move off, not even because I want to move off YouTube or anything like that, but just simply because they need somebody to hold them in check. They need it's the reason why, you know, monopolies are broken up for stuff like this. Because you get something like YouTube, you break it up, so in that way they're forced to be nicer to their consumers for the sake of convincing them to use their product instead of an alternative product. In the case of YouTube, there's no real alternative to YouTube. There's no other place you can really go and, you know, have the same sort of amount of content for free.
Yeah, and it's interesting because lately my dad has actually been interested in starting a YouTube channel. And, you know, I've been explaining to him, you know, how to get started. I recommended to him use OBS to record because everyone uses it and there's just no reason to use anything else. I recommended to him my editing software. But yeah, I just also explained to him a lot of how YouTube works. And he asked me an interesting question, which is, are there any other websites where, you know, you can share video content and make a lot of, or not a lot, he understands that you don't, it takes a while before you make any substantial amount of money off of YouTube. But, you know, just a place where it's, the slightest bit simple to get any sort of traction and views and eventually make money off of it. And I'm thinking, and I'm like, well, Facebook, technically you can share your videos and get monetized, but that's a waste of time if you're not already popular. And I'm going through my head and I'm like, there's really no alternative to YouTube. There just isn't. And yeah, I explained to him about Twitch, but he's not interested in live streaming. So that is a good point that YouTube has somehow been able to maintain its status as being the only thing like it in its field. And I think that the concept of YouTube and the community of YouTube is oftentimes a beautiful thing. The fact that, content creators are able to get on YouTube and get popular and make money off of doing things they love, sharing their opinions or making cool things, etc. But the company itself sometimes does a lot of things that we don't like, and we will continue to put them in this segment.
Yep.
And at that, I think this is a good place to end the podcast. So
yeah, we would like to thank you all so much for watching. As we mentioned, please make sure to like and subscribe, and we really hope you all enjoyed.
Yes.
Comment.
Yes, comment, share, do all that stuff if you enjoyed our content, because you guys don't realize how much one like or one comment really just makes us happy to know that there's people out there that watch us, who enjoy us, and care about what we have to say. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. We'll catch you all in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Hello. You have been listening to the RichOnItch Podcast. Remember to subscribe, comment, and share this with your friends. Come back every Friday at 1 p.m. Central for a new listening experience. Thank you.